So now we should be
Okay,
able to
now
hear us.
can you hear
Now
us?
you can hear us. Okay, I can see little green things there, so I think we're all good to go. But if someone in the chat will confirm whether you can hear us, anytime you like, chat, anytime.
Anyway, I was saying we've got some questions from our Patreon supporters, which we're going to kick off with in a moment.
Yes, there's lots of nice comments. Yes, we've got a yes. Thank you. Sounds good. Right.
Great, thank you.
We're
Excellent.
rocking and rolling. Okay.
Right.
Good evening, everyone. Anything you want to start with?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I think we'll start with the Patreon questions.
Okay, so we've got a few questions from the Patreon. Of course, you can join us on Patreon for a mere $1.
Yeah.
And what do you get for $1?
Very little. You get a weekly series. This year I am talking all about Roger Corman's films. So we're going to cover 52 Roger Corman films over the 50 Roger Corman films over the course of this year, which with any other director producer you'd think was quite a decent chunk of their career. Not in Corman's case. It's actually really hard to confine it to 50.
So yes, and then you also get the archives, which I'm rapidly uploading, which is 52 weeks of Hitchcock, 52 weeks of silent film, and
52 weeks of Kurosawa.
So
which is
yes,
perhaps a little misleading.
And you get that at the $1 level. So you want to sign in for that.
For that alone, I mean, $12 a year, you pay more than that for a subscription service that you never watch.
Exactly. So give it to us and never watch.
Yeah. Or watch.
So speaking of that, I've got a question for you from the Patreon feed.
Have you?
What would you say is the best Roger Corman produced but not directed?
But not directed. I mean, there's an awful, like I just said, there's 700 odd. So I'm going to pick Stakeout on Dope Street, which is directed by Irving Kershner, who went on to direct Empire Strikes Back.
I would have said Never Say Never Again.
Did Corman produce that?
No, but he.
Oh right, that's what he went on to direct.
Directed it. Yes.
I don't think that's the high spot of his career.
It definitely isn't. The next question is not a question, a movie suggestion. Sinbad of the Seven Seas, starring Lou Ferrigno.
Would love to do it, but I haven't come across a decent copy to download online.
The next question. Why do you think no one's ever tried making various other were movies other than werewolf? Like a werebear, a werefox, which kind of feels really close to a werewolf.
Werefox, yeah, I mean, there are Japanese films where people turn into foxes because that's a big part of their mythology. I think in the end, we get werewolf films because they're a big part of our mythology.
Okay.
So you probably get different ones in other cultures.
And of course, I would argue that there are plenty of other kind of...
They're not called were.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we did one many moons back, The Beast Within, which is a were cicada.
Yeah.
Which only comes out every 12 years.
We've reviewed the Peter Cushing film, the Blood Beast Terror, which is about a weremoth, a giant weremoth.
And then I'd argue there's a series of like the cat people kind of as a were catness to it.
Certainly the remake is a were-cat film, isn't it?
Yes. Thank you, Colleen, for this generous donation.
Thank you very much.
And that
was the Patreon questions.
The Patreon questions for you. The Oscars came out today. Would you like to hear the Best Picture nominees and give me your thoughts?
I mean, I missed most of them.
Just say that, and now I can't see the actual movies. Okay. This is the polish you're looking for. American Fiction,
which you saw last night.
I saw last
night.
You
said that was very
really
good.
Enjoyed
I liked
it.
the sound of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yep. Anatomy of a Fall. I saw that. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad we're getting my opinion on all this.
Barbie.
No, I haven't seen that one. It doesn't look immediately like my type of film. Okay. I think it's kind of ridiculous to have something nominated for Best Picture when you're not nominating the director, because if it's such a good picture, the director must have been all right.
Well, there's 10 Best Picture nominees and only 5 Best Director nominees. So 5 of the films are going to miss out.
Well, yeah, but we already, I mean, to be honest, with the Best Picture ones, you sort of know which ones they're going to be.
Yes.
I was recently in a play that won Best Dramatic Production in the Southwest, and yet the 2 lead actors who were on stage really quite a lot were not nominated. And I just thought, fantastic. We managed to be the best show, despite the horrific weight of me and Fraser dragging the show down.
Okay, the next one.
Very pleased to have won.
The next nominee is The Holdovers.
I really want to see that.
That's
I will
only
probably
just
see
come
this
out
week.
here.
Yeah,
We're
I
going
want
to
to
try
see
and
that
catch that
this week.
Killers of Flower Moon, which I saw, which is again fine.
Yep.
Maestro.
That I have seen.
And you didn't like?
No. I thought it was fine. I just thought that it didn't have enough to say about. I thought it was stupid to do something about Leonard Bernstein that had so little to do with music. It could have been any relationship.
Oppenheimer.
Yes, which I enjoyed with some reserve. I do think it was too long. I think once he tested the bomb, it really lost momentum.
Okay.
That felt like the end.
Past Lives.
I loved Past Lives.
Cool.
I'd be very happy with that winning.
Poor Things.
Going to see that tomorrow, I hope. Touch wood.
Yes, I've seen it. I again very much enjoyed it. And Zone of Interest, which I don't think has come out here yet.
Right.
So
not familiar.
I remember seeing a trailer for it, I think. So that's doing its thing. Okay, so that was the Oscar nom.
Wow, we're up to 97 people just listening to us talk about Oscars. We've probably got some questions now.
I hope so. Where Ferret, somebody said.
Where Ferret? Yeah, that's a good one. Ferrets are vicious things. That would be a terrifying movie.
Okay, so we've done excellent biographies of Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee. How about a David Warner special?
I'm pretty sure I recognise that question from Facebook, so I'm probably not going to answer it there now. Sorry, I didn't get around to answering your question with more alacrity. I mean, I think the thing is, David Warner is a very fine actor who's in a lot of great things. He is not anywhere near as iconic as those other stars. And we really have to pick and choose because we rely on people watching the videos. And I don't think that a David Warner special will get those sort of views. Also, I'll be honest, I don't know a great deal about David Warner. Okay. I've obviously seen him in films, but I don't know a great deal about him.
Yes. Someone's also said Blood Freak is also a Where Turkey film.
Yes, Blood Freak is.
Yes. My girlfriend has commented, new T-shirt, Graham. Well, this is just us pimping our sponsor, actually.
Yeah. The reason I'm wearing the jumper is because I got the same T-shirt. And last time we were caught wearing the same T-shirts for promotional purposes. Someone asked if it was a couples thing.
Yeah, so we tried to avoid that. We should have, in fairness, been sporting our own merchandise.
Yeah, but as long as Graham is sporting somebody else's merchandise, then we may as well. And they're very nice people. They're good friends of ours.
Yes, they've really helped a lot with the Patreon. But there we go. There's Kickstarter for Bleeding in the New Year, the expansion to Grave Robbers from Outer Space card game. Who have sponsored a couple of episodes.
More on that from us in the upcoming weeks.
Yes.
Your very own Science Advisor card to come.
Oh, yeah, there's a Science Advisor card coming up. I've also heard I might be on a card.
That seems like a waste of time.
I know. Nobody even knows who I am, as was noted in comments.
You going back to name check the person who didn't know your name.
To Maria Kelly, who says, hello, Robin, and the other guy. It's like, not like my name isn't in the credits.
I think it's impressive anybody even remembers you're here.
I'm pretty sure like most people think you do everything.
Yeah, we get that a lot in the comments.
Technically incompetent you are.
This is true. It should be stated. I can watch the films and talk about them, but I can't do any of the technical stuff remotely. It's actually, I can barely survive in the modern world. It's really frightening.
It is. Okay, Paul Verhoeven, genius or king of trash?
Why can't you be both? No, I mean, he's made some fantastic films. He's made some less good films. I don't think he's really either. I don't think he's a genius. He's a very good director on his day.
Okay, so how about a book about a Bigfoot who gets bit by a werewolf and becomes a were-Bigfoot?
It's not rushing to the top of my to-write list, but if I saw that in a shop, I reckon I'd probably pick it up.
Russell Crowe.
I need a good title.
Unfairly Razzie nominated for The Pope's Exorcist. The Razzies I find are a bit shit.
Yeah.
Like I think they had a purpose once and now it's overplayed. Razzies nominated the score for The Thing.
Yeah.
As an
all
example.
You need to know.
There's some very odd choices, and usually it's just like kicking people when they're down, and it's I think the joke of it's run out now.
The fact is, it's easy to have a go at Russell Crowe because he's such a dislikable person.
Yes.
So
I haven't seen The Pope's Exorcist, but I did hear it was shite.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
so it probably was deserved. Okay, we haven't done a Christopher Lee film in a while. That's interesting.
I suppose we haven't for a little bit.
Okay, all right, we'll get on that in the next batch.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's a couple of Christopher Lee box sets released in America with all of his like Euro horror films on them.
We did The Whip and the Body. Was that? Well, I suppose that was a while ago now.
We didn't review it, did we?
Yeah, for streaming.
Did we?
For streaming.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I remember that. I guess we've
been doing it for streaming for 2 years now.
We've done about 200 plus.
Streaming still feels like a new idea.
Right, Creature from the Black Lagoon is one of my favourite monster movies. However, do you think it truly fits within the Universal monster cycle?
I mean, you wouldn't put it alongside the Gothic horrors, or sort of like if the Creature from the Black Lagoon had turned up in like House of Dracula or then that wouldn't work at all. But it showed Universal moving on, I guess. I don't see any problem with that.
But the fact is, you wouldn't
I wouldn't put it in my books.
You wouldn't do a Creature from the Black Lagoon kind of thing.
No, but Universal horror is beyond just the Gothic ones.
Yes. Holdovers is very good.
Good. I'm hoping to see it, but time.
Carl says he thinks that Creature from the Black Lagoon is a precursor to Jaws, more than a companion of Frankenstein and the Wolfman.
Fair enough.
Yep. What would you consider Boris Karloff's second most iconic performance?
Second most iconic performance, I suppose, in The Mummy.
Yes, I would agree. Yeah, probably
in terms of iconic, his second. I don't know. I would assume probably The Creature is his best performance, but The Body Snatcher's so good. You think about Karloff, but I wouldn't call that iconic.
Yeah,
I think The Mummy's more iconic. I think The Body Snatcher's a better film than The Mummy. Controversial, maybe.
By the way, I can tell you all that the science advisor is in the house.
Hey,
both Mr. and Mrs. Science Advisor are around. So, any thoughts of doing targets? I've talked about that.
I think we probably do it for streaming at some point, won't we? I think that's I can say with some confidence we'll get to it. Now, this would be probably a good year to do it because it's a Corman produced one. You know what? In reference to that first question, targets would be another very good choice for something Roger Corman produced but didn't direct.
And as somebody did ask, yes, it is a bottle of Blanton's. It is a single barrel Blanton's. Oh, there we go.
And this is a can of Thatcher's Gold. It is cider.
What have we got here? Do you guys miss 80s, 90s action films? I don't think they're your favourites.
No, not even a little bit.
Well, what's up? But
I mean, something like Die Hard, but I don't think I miss
Die Hard.
I mean, I guess they say they don't make them like that anymore, but it's more or less unique for what it is. I mean, there's lots and lots of rip-offs.
I feel that people used to get hurt back in the day, and now there's a lot of things. The stuff with The Rock going, well, he can only be punched as many times as he punches the other person, and he can't ever lose a fight, so it's always got to be a draw. Like everyone's so image conscious about things. And obviously, like the heyday of Jackie Chan is 80s. So
I miss Jackie Chan films, but I think that's separate to just as a genre. I don't miss action films of the 80s because there's just too much crap.
Loving the channel, great seeing you around. Thank you. Graham could be the breakout character on the cards.
Classic Dark Corners breakout character, the other guy.
So here we go. So would like to see a video on cannibalism movies, ending with a review of Ravenous, greatest film. We'd be judging by YouTube, doing a cannibal film justice in a review would be near on impossible.
Yeah, nor could we use the word cannibal in the title without it raising some flags.
Yes.
So we couldn't do the special that you're suggesting without having to artfully word the title.
It's very possible that what was the cannibal one that we did?
Oh, White Cannibal Queen.
Yes, that might have been responsible for our Patreon YouTube channel getting taken off. It was certainly one of the ones that got flagged before they banned that whole account.
There were other reasons in that film.
There were other things in it, but it's like it's made us very cautious around the areas of cannibals.
Yes, I'm famously cautious around cannibals.
What films are universally lauded that you think are vastly overrated?
Oh, I'm sure. Never good at these questions. Oh, the Lord of the Rings films.
Oh yeah, you don't like those. What about Bollywood movies as a separate?
As a separate result, I mean, I think it's like most. I think that I would want to take a little time to get into them as a genre, which I never really have. I've seen some I've liked and some that I haven't, but there's always a slight disconnect. It's like if you start watching silent films for the first time, having never watched any before, it's jarring. You need a few films to get into it. I think Bollywood's the same. It's a completely different culture of filmmaking. But I think once I got into it and then I think I'd find it pretty much like any other genre.
Yeah.
Does it, the one that we review, RRR, that's not technically Bollywood, is it? Is that Tollywood?
Tollywood, yeah, because somebody told us off for getting that wrong.
Did we say Bollywood?
Yeah. CGI or practical effects?
I mean, I would always prefer practical effects, but I think you've got to move with the times. The CGI, when it's done right, is fantastic. The problem is that it's too easy to do everything.
Yes.
And it sort of ties in with what you were saying about 80s action movies. One of the reasons that nobody gets hurt in movies anymore is because it's so easy to have CGI people punching through walls and being thrown through walls. And it just feels like there's no consequences, that there's no, because it's so easy to do. Whereas previously you were having the stuntmen say, well, this could hurt me.
Yeah. I mean, I would go practical effects to a degree, enhanced with CGI is kind of the way to go.
Right.
Because I think whenever you can have something real and tangible on a set, I think helps the actors. And I think also it just has more presence there. You can there's still that disconnect of CGI, even when it's done really good.
Yeah.
And I think there's sometimes a case with how a camera moves around CGI, that cameras will do impossible things. And I feel that adds to the disconnect.
Yes.
When you've got a camera flying around doing impossible things and all of the CGI is like perfectly synchronized and fluid, it lacks that real world messiness, which is what you've got to add in there.
A lot of the most engaging and visceral action scenes of all time are the ones where the camera's it's out of focus, and so something like Raging Bull, the fight scenes that are extraordinary, and the camera is not in the perfect place. It's not flying around. It's
that's certainly
it's unclean, like the fight
in Nolan's Dunkirk. There's a bit where it's like they're following the planes, and the camera's like trying to just keep the planes in shot, so it's not like perfectly in that golden ratio or whatever. There's a realness of capturing that action, and it's definitely something you could do in CGI, but you've just got to have a mind to do it. So both are excellent.
They're tools to serve the story.
Yeah.
And I think that too often CGI is not used that way, whereas practical effects tend to be used that way because it's more difficult or more time consuming anyway. So you do as little as you have to, whereas CGI, you just go mad sometimes.
Yeah. Are we going to review more of the Transers films? I guess so.
Hard to say. I don't know in what context we do them. I mean, they're not. We did that one really just because it was a Christmas one. It's not a bad movie. No. The other ones probably get worse.
Yeah, and I wonder if they get worse, but they keep the same tone, it might fall into that. This is a comedy, and we're doing bad reviews of comedies is difficult. Okay, this looks like a question you've planted, Robin. Good day from Australia. As one who has reviewed your books, when's the next one coming out?
Oh, right. Thank you for reading and reviewing my books. That's really nice. I'm assuming that's on Amazon.
Well, you're also assuming that he gave him a good review.
I have no bad reviews on Amazon.
That was very bold of you.
I have no bad reviews on Amazon, which I'm assuming is where he's reviewed them. I'm hoping to get another one out over summer. I've been writing a different book for the last year, and I'm continuing this year. It's a much bigger project. But I will get a Universal Library one out this year. It won't be later than October. I'm hoping it will be over summer, but the other one's really my focus, and that takes an awful lot of my time and energy. It's something I'm really passionate about. It's a very different type of book, but I want to get it done.
Okay.
So sorry for the delay.
Would we consider reviewing the film Society? Have you seen it?
No.
Yeah.
Am I thinking of the weird,
gory
I think
ones.
probably
not your cup of tea.
No.
I imagine. Yes, To Your Crypts, Christopher Lee ones. How do you feel about superhero movies? Is superhero fatigue setting in? 100%. I think it was very clear this year that
I think, to be perfectly honest, when
done.
There's an object lesson, you can't make these things last forever. When they got to Endgame, the story was obviously over. They shouldn't have kept going with it, really.
Yeah.
Just keeping that going and bringing in the sort of the multiverse stuff, so that these stories have no consequences, no real stakes anymore. It was supposed to sort of like open the boundaries, but all it means is that you can't really engage. It's just not. I mean, they were never real world things, but now even the semblance of real world values has gone. So you can't, I think, identify with it.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, people are just bored of it. That's a very extemporaneous way of saying people are bored of it.
I guess is what's going to.
I was bored pretty early on.
What's going to come in now as the next genre of film that's going to get people going to the cinema? If the era of the superhero is now done.
Well, I don't know. It will be interesting to see. You hope that, someone will pick up the baton and do something interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, no one would have predicted 25 years ago. No one would have predicted that for the next 25 years, superhero movies are going to dominate in the way that they have.
Yeah.
In the same way that nobody in 1976 would have predicted that something like Star Wars was going to happen.
Yeah.
These things come from nowhere.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. I like to be surprised.
Good evening. Can I suggest a biography videos about silent film actresses like Theda Bara and Maud Feely?
Where am I looking? Right. Okay. I think this comes under the David Warner rule, if I'm honest. Theda Bara might be better known than David Warner in some ways and sort of iconic. But the problem with doing one about Theda Bara is so few of her films survive. So few.
Yeah.
That we'd have no clips to show, which we really sort of rely on. And I'm not sure how much is known about Theda Bara.
Mm-hmm.
Her real name is Theodosia Whittle, for what it's worth.
There you go. And Theda Bara is an anagram of
Arab death.
Yes,
we did. I know that we looked up. We made up an anagram of her real name when we did the Lost Film special,
yes.
and I think we had Good Smoothie, Adam,
if
I remember rightly.
Yes, that sounds familiar. Are we looking forward to the new horror films in 2024? We're going to be shooting a video on that tomorrow, but don't look for it coming out straight away.
No, but brief answer is it looks a little disappointing for the most part.
Yeah, it's tough because we're just going off the list of films that have release dates.
Yeah.
So there may be films that have been announced but don't have a release date.
But then we say this every year when we do this, that you never know the films that are going to grab you in the coming year. I think it's the stuff that you don't know that's coming is always the interesting stuff. Yes,
but it seems that this year looks, not to preempt the video we're recording tomorrow, but this year looks like the year of prequels.
Yes,
there seems to be a lot of prequels coming out this year.
Yeah, because there's the Quiet Place one, there's the Lord of the Rings one.
Yes, there's. I guess to some degree, the new Planet of the Apes movie is a sequel, also a prequel.
Yeah, I mean, depending on, whether or not it's called
Yes.
I mean, not that they're shy of sequels as well.
Mufasa, The Lion King sounds like a sequel.
Beetlejuice 2.
Beetlejuice, I think that's going to be a sequel.
Yes. Oh, that's going to be.
Sorry.
No, that's a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was talking about prequels.
Oh, right. Okay.
Furiosa, obviously a prequel.
That's a prequel, yeah.
And in terms of the horror films coming out, when you've got quality like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, and Mickey's Mousetrap, because now characters that are out of copyright just get bunged into the shittest horror films imaginable. Oh, also The First Omen, another prequel.
Oh, yeah.
Like that needed. So yeah, to answer your question, nothing is jumping out at me right now.
No.
Don't think like last year was particularly.
I remember there being a few titles that we were interested in. I'd still like to see The Voyage of the Demeter.
Oh yeah,
but that's never really. It came out, but not over here.
Yeah,
and still not streaming anywhere, which is bizarre. I mean, maybe it would have been disappointing, but I liked the idea.
Yeah. Hopefully, it was better than Renfield, because that was not good.
See, a lot of people liked Renfield.
I get why people would like it, but people also like Marvel movies. So yeah,
you're one of them.
Just because people like them doesn't mean that they're good.
That's usually me.
Yes. I don't know. Who are these guys?
Is that one of the questions?
Yes.
I'm Robin.
And I'm Graham.
I'm. You know what? I hope that guy's still watching. Thank you for watching. It's really nice to find someone on here who has absolutely no idea who we are, but just thought they'd watch a live stream. Thank you.
It could be like referring to some other names that we dropped, possibly.
Oh, okay.
Don't really know. There's no context to the.
I still like I like the idea.
Body snatchers subgenre. I don't know. Again, I don't know what that's referring to. Sorry.
Sorry, as ever with these, the questions come far faster than we're able to answer them, which means we get terribly behind. We will get to all the questions we can.
There's a lot of. It's about Boris Karloff. That's basically where the chat is in terms of the questions that we've answered.
Right, so we're currently about 15 minutes behind.
Okay. Oh, FJ, thank you for the generous donation.
Thank you very much.
Totally missed that when that came in. Thank you. So Boris Karloff. Michael Mann's The Keep. Thoughts?
I don't have any thoughts on Michael Mann's The Keep.
Any film that didn't get a sequel that should have?
Oh yeah, we always go to the same one, which is and I've got Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter.
Yeah.
Which definitely should have had a sequel.
What 5 horror films do you consider have become classics that were made in the last 10 years?
That have become classics in the last 10 years? None.
What 5 horror films do you consider have become classics that were made in the last 10 years? And you've got to answer this one because they generously donated £20.
Okay.
So
I will caveat it by saying these are films that I think will become classics. No films have become classics in the last 5 years. I don't think that's possible.
Last 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, 5 films last 10 years.
My sense of when stuff came out has obviously. You kids watching, this will happen to you. But yeah, the time works oddly. Was Train to Busan more than 10 years ago? Might have been now.
Let's call it.
Let's call it Train to Busan.
Yep.
Your turn.
Okay.
Horror films, did it say?
Horror films. It's probably going to get ruined, and it probably isn't a classic, but we're just stretching for recent horror films.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Damn it, that's what I was going to say. Trying to think of ones we've reviewed.
But I have a feeling that when they start edging out sequels,
it'll lose all its cachet. Elementary. Yeah, I reckon that's a classic of the. I reckon in 50 years, people will be holding that up with
that's kind of annoying.
Really cool
we reviewed that was one of the first one that we ever did with streaming, and I feel that now if we did it, it would probably get a lot more attention.
Yeah, probably.
Mainly because the streaming reviews do good.
Horror films.
Godzilla -1.
Oh right, yeah.
That was okay. That was really good.
One more.
I feel like I saw a good horror film this year.
What does that say about the industry? I
feel that
I saw a decent
I saw a lot of terrible ones.
What about? I mean, would you say Shape of Water was horror?
No.
Probably not.
No.
That's a shame. Has Guillermo del Toro done it? No, I don't think any of his other really great horror films were in the last 10 years.
No.
Pinocchio is not really horror.
Invisible Man. It's not going to be a
I don't
classic.
That's going to be a classic.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll keep thinking. We've given you 4.
Yeah.
The problem is, I just don't know when films came out. I'm so bad at being put on the spot, and so why we do these live streams is anybody's guess.
Can I do this one?
Yeah. What do you mean? Can you do this one?
Well, you didn't want to say it when we did the review.
I don't know what you're pointing at.
Oh, well, you just said, "Can I do?" That's why I asked you. Soylent Green, is that a cannibal film? You didn't want to ruin it when we did the review,
right?
I
didn't.
I don't think it necessarily is, because people are unconsciously.
You think cannibalism is always?
I think it has to be conscious.
Okay, fair
enough. Okay. Yes. Would we review the 1972 film The Other?
Possibly.
I miss Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson's not done a film in quite a while, since The Hobbit.
No, he's
done documentaries.
Cinema releases.
He's not done
No.
I think that killed him.
Let's be honest, he's not.
The Hobbit killed him.
Oh well,
and
it
wasn't worth it.
Only got himself to blame.
Wasn't worth it. Yes, I have seen Godzilla -1. You have not.
No, another one I missed.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. I know it's just incredible that a film made for about $15 million was so much more engaging and interesting than the Godzilla versus Kong that we had.
Any of the Godzilla
year and a half. But that film was boring, but it was like I was in on Godzilla -1.
I don't find that amazing at all. I find that par for the course.
I do think it's weird. We had this debate earlier that it got nominated for best special effects. The effects are probably the weakest part of the film. But that's at 15 million though. It's great. On that budget, the effects are great, but they're not Oscar worthy special effects. Some love to the Science Advisor. Criterion Channel has a bunch of hopping vampire movies. We haven't done a hopping vampire movie since.
No, not since the Robo Vampire.
Maybe we should do Mr. Vampire for streaming.
I was looking for Mr. Vampire and couldn't find it on the streaming service. Yeah, I'm sure it's out. I think it might be on Shudder or something. I'd like to do Mr. Vampire.
Okay. FJ has now amended their question.
Does it say now 4?
No. Just what films made in the last... What films, blanket, not horror films.
Right.
In the last 10 years would you consider classics? So is there a film in the last 10 years?
That I'd consider a classic.
That will be a
future classic. So now we're just looking for one film to round out that 5.
Yeah.
Future classics. I mean, the thing is, I don't know. You need a solid definition of classic. It's sort of like any film that you thought was.
What
great.
Film's going to stand? Because quite often you look at the Oscar nominees for a particular year, and those films won't be remembered where some other one is.
Probably, yeah.
So.
But then a lot of the bad films we review are remembered better than really good films that came out the same year that they were released. It's classic is a weird one. Suddenly, whenever these questions come up, my mind blanks on everything I watched in the last 10 years, or in the last year for that matter. I'm sure I saw something I mean, there are films I really, really liked, and I'd like to hope that they might be future classics. But you just think maybe more people have to have seen them.
Yeah.
I mean, that last year I was a huge fan of Women Talking.
Yes,
I loved that film.
Yeah.
Would I say that was a future classic? I don't know.
My girlfriend's been reading the book of that for about the last 6 months. She'll read like 3 pages, get tired, go to sleep, forget what she's written. The next night goes back to read those same 3 pages. So it's been
in the spirit of Women Talking. It feels wrong to mock your girlfriend in this way.
Well, she bought the book for me to read, but she's just not finished it yet, so I can't read it until she's done with it.
Women Sleeping.
But yes, I also enjoyed Women Talking. funny enough,
I'm going to call that an answer. I thought that was a fantastic film. I'd like to hope that it's a future classic.
But funny enough, I probably enjoyed Ben Whishaw's performance the most in it.
Really?
Yeah. I liked this.
I thought he was better. I'm not really a big Ben Whishaw fan. I think he's a very good Paddington Bear.
And he's a good Q.
No, I'm not. I don't really care about. I find him a little mannered. I liked him.
Yeah.
I liked him more in Women Talking than I usually do in stuff.
Yeah. The bit that I liked from him in Women Talking was when the women were deciding whether or not to take the boys.
Right.
With
yes. That was very good.
And his answer to that about, will these boys become the men like their fathers have become? And he really,
I think that was good.
It was
writing.
A big grey area. Yeah. Very enjoyable film.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Okay. At the beginning, your videos were very much more comic. Over time, they've become more generally good criticism. Was this intentional, or did it happen naturally?
I think it happened naturally.
Yeah.
I think it's just that when we started, then it was kind of more of an act, as it were.
Yes.
That there was a persona, and over time, it just became more me.
Mm-hmm.
That I like talking about films, and I think that that you were just initially it was just mocking films, and actually I think we can't suppress the fact that we do love film.
Yes.
And that comes through even when you're talking about bad films, even if it's sometimes berating them for not being as much as they can be. And if you can do that in a funny way, then so much the better.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it just became more us, to be honest.
Because I think one of the films we just filmed a review for today is Tender Dracula, which is a Peter Cushing sex comedy. And it's
a very bad
film. It is probably one of the worst films we've reviewed.
Yeah.
But Peter Cushing in it delivers just a stellar performance.
Yeah.
There were
like you've never seen Peter Cushing before. I mean, Peter Cushing is always stellar, but he's giving a different performance than I've ever seen him give before in a film that he knows is of no account.
Yeah.
What actor does that?
So even in that film, which was boring and not funny,
painful to watch,
it didn't deliver on comedy nor sex.
No, certainly not horror.
So yeah, don't go seeking that film out. It's not worth it. But the review of that will be out in a few weeks.
Yeah, I do also think that in terms of how the show evolved, a certain amount of thanks must go to all of you who've watched it for however many years you are, whether you're new or old. But I think our interactions with our fans has been it seems so weird to say our fans, with our viewers, has been part of the way that we've evolved. I think it's given us the confidence to be more ourselves.
Yeah. Scott's Napoleon should be mocked in a standard dark corners. Not our kind of thing.
But probably true.
I
think it's ballsy to do Napoleon when Abel Gance's film is there.
Yeah. Spielberg's supposed to be working on Kubrick's version as a TV series on HBO. So that might be quite interesting. I mean, I didn't hate Napoleon.
The research that Kubrick put into his Napoleon is that there's a one of those enormous coffee table books that's cost like 150 quid of all the research that he did. It's no wonder he never got it made. I think he could have happily researched it for the rest of it. I was going to say he could have happily researched it for the rest of his life. That's exactly what he did. He never made it, but I think he enjoyed the research more than the making of the film.
Which actor would you like to see playing the next James Bond?
I don't know. I'm not great with this sort of thing.
I thought Henry Cavill would have made a good Bond, but I think his window's gone.
I know. I mean, I've had this discussion with my brother, who's a big fan of Henry Cavill. I just think he's got so little charisma.
I also
no edge to him.
After seeing Tenet, I kind of liked Robert Pattinson. I know, but I think he's not quite there yet. I think he needs like another few years on him.
Yeah.
So
I think we all pussyfoot around the fact that we'd all have quite liked Idris Elba, but he's too old now.
Yeah, way past it.
And I think he would have taken it in an interesting direction. But there we go. I don't know.
Again,
I don't really care who plays him next as long as there's good writing.
If you've got like if you're looking at Bond physically, do you want to see a Sean Connery physique, a Daniel Craig physique, or Pierce Brosnan physique?
I don't put Connery and Brosnan that far apart, to be honest. Also, it will be early Connery.
Oh yeah, okay. So let's do a Roger Moore, a Brosnan, or a Daniel Craig. What's the best Bond physique?
I think that I would probably go Brosnan.
I concur.
I think that Daniel Craig is too big. For one thing, as soon as he walks into a room, then he's the big hulking guy there.
Yes, yeah.
I don't think that's a good spy. There's also that ludicrous bit in, is it Spectre, where he punches through the wall, and you just, oh, for fuck's sake.
He punches through the wall. That's in Casino Royale. He runs through a drywall.
No. He actually, when him and what's her name are holding up in the sort of the Alps or wherever they are, then he punches through the wall to find the secret room on the other side.
Oh, okay.
And you think, there are so many things in this room you could use as a battering ram. We're doing this because you can, except in real life, you can't.
I'm jumping down to donation. A friend of mine, this is from Mackenzie, a friend of mine introduced me to your channel. I've been hooked ever since. Any chance you'll tackle a personal favorite of mine, Lucio Fulci's Contraband.
We've done a couple of Fulci films. I wouldn't be surprised if we did that, and your donation has gone a long way to making that happen. Thank you very much.
But of course, the best way you could donate is on Patreon, where you get far more bang for your buck, and we get more bang from your buck.
Well, thank you for your donation is what Graham meant to say there, rather than saying, well, this isn't the best way to donate, but I guess we'll accept your money.
But the best way for you to, because you will get lots of good content for it as well.
Yeah.
And we get a higher percentage.
I'm just saying maybe that wasn't the best way to express it.
I just want people to feel that they're getting the most value.
I feel like we now have to do Contraband. Let's see if we can find it. So it's always with these ones. Sometimes it's about finding a good copy, and of course, a copy in English.
Yes. The Gorgon or the Reptile?
The Reptile.
Oh, we haven't even reviewed that yet.
Yeah, but I've seen it.
I know, but we have. I'm just saying, it's like given.
Oh, there's a lot of great standalone. I'm always sort of like cagey about which Hammer ones we do for standalone streaming reviews, because I never know when they're going to pop up in specials. I'm not sure the Reptile ever would. There's another Ware thing.
Oh,
the Reptile.
Okay.
But yeah, the Reptile and the Plague of the Zombies are two Hammer ones that don't get the attention they deserve. Plague of the Zombies is definitely the better of those two, and they'll both be mentioned in an upcoming special we've got about the Hammer Mummy, because they share a director with, I think it's Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, but I get the middle two of Hammer's Mummy films mixed up an awful lot.
Okay. What do you think of the new Hammer movies? So this is Woman in Black, The Lodge, the new Dr. Jekyll movie, and they also did Let Me In.
Yeah, I haven't seen the new Dr. Jekyll, which I did want to see.
That disappeared very quickly.
Didn't it?
I think I was just sort of like screening once.
The Woman in Black, I thought, I tell you what, I sort of thought it was fine. And then I saw the TV adaptation that we are reviewing for streaming recently and thought, wow, this is doing so much less and it's so much more effective.
Because I needed to put in a little clip of the Daniel Radcliffe Woman in Black into the review. And so I got hold of the trailer, and the trailer just cut. It's like so the opposite of the TV version of the Woman in Black. No, we can't trust you. We can't trust you just to pay attention, and especially, I mean, the stage version of Woman in Black is really one that sort of sucks you in.
It's interesting. They all have completely different takes on the story, though. In some respect, they're all founded in the same thing, but they all have different endings, I think. But yeah, I mean, they're fine. I'm very disappointed that that Hammer never got around to doing the Quatermass reboot that they were talking about. That was a real disappointment, because I think that would have been a good way to reboot.
Okay. Have you been to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios? No, it's too far away. Are we doing another Amicus anytime soon?
We haven't got one scheduled, but I suppose with things with Amicus, you can always drop them in. Sort of like I imagine over time we'll get round to all of the anthologies. And I've watched them all recently, all except I watched all the ones with Peter Cushing, which means 6 out of 7 of them. Is it 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 8? Anyway, however many there are, Peter Cushing is not in the Vault of Horror because he was shooting another Amicus film, which has a terrible title, but is actually not so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Amicus is always there, I guess. If we've got a gap in the schedule, do that.
Okay.
We were talking about doing another Christopher Lee one. Could do one of those.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen Innocent Blood? Nope. Any chance we could review the 1996 Doctor Who TV movie?
I mean, I suppose we could cover it when the new series starts.
Yeah.
Just bounce off
Presumably
of
that. It's on the BBC streaming thing, isn't it?
I would imagine so.
It's
I don't know. They've uploaded all of them, and that was a co-production. It's possible. I haven't. I'm currently. I've gone back to the start of Doctor Who, and I'm watching them all through on iPlayer from William Hartnell onwards.
Where are you up to?
I've just finished season 2.
How are you finding they got the animated?
I've watched one of the ones that's part animated. The Reign of Terror is missing 2 episodes. And the thing is, there are other ones that are completely missing because they only animate the ones where the soundtrack remains.
Right. Okay.
So you've always got some part of the original. At the moment, there's no plans to animate the ones that are totally missing.
Right.
So the whole of Marco Polo is gone. 2 episodes of the Romans. 2 episodes. Oh no, not the Romans, the Crusades. But yeah, so there's big chunks missing. The only one, but I thought they did a fantastic job with the animation on Reign of Terror because they kept it very much in the style of the TV show. That it's pretty much stepped back. It's very simple animation. Yeah, but it really captures the characters. And having those voices makes a huge difference. So yeah, I've enjoyed it so far.
We've also talked a bit about how some collectors in the UK, it seems, have episodes.
It's generally assumed in the Doctor Who community, and I'm taking advice from my friend Johnny on the off chance he's watching. Hi, Johnny, because he is a Dark Corners fan, who is steeped in Doctor Who and who is on all the forums and gets the Doctor Who magazine and has done since he was a child and really knows all this stuff. And he says it is understood these episodes do exist, but collectors are holding on to them partly for reasons that collectors do these things, but also because there has been a problem in the past with the fact that this stuff walks a grey area legally. Yeah. And of course, Bob Monkhouse, the British comedian, was arrested because he screened some of the stuff that he taped off of TV, and it was the screening that contravened the law because you're not allowed to do that. And he recorded. I mean, when he died, they discovered, I think, 4 Hancock episodes that were considered lost in his shed. He had thousands and thousands of TV shows. Lenny Henry's first TV appearance only survives because Bob Monkhouse had taped it because he thought, oh, this kid's quite good. Amazing.
Are you also telling me that the first episode of Doctor Who exists?
Oh yeah, that you can. I mean, my parents have got that on video.
But you can't stream it.
You can't stream that because the writer's son is being a dick. It's the short version of the story. That he feels his dad created Doctor Who, which he did not.
Somebody said, funny enough, talk about lost footage. Someone's mentioned about the newly discovered footage of Cleopatra, which we did we did a little video of that on Patreon.
Just for our Patreon supporters. But yeah, really extraordinary. Yeah. Pamela Hutchinson wrote a bit about it for Sight and Sound and reiterated a lot of what I'd said, that it's just remarkable. This new footage gives you a whole set. It's seconds long. I mean, not a few. I think it's about 30 seconds long, but it gives you a sense of the scale of the movie and of the storytelling as well, and some of the interactions between the characters. It's so much better than the footage that had previously survived, which was,
and the quality of it was fantastic.
Oh, it's extraordinary.
You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah. If you're interested in silent film at all, then I really recommend looking it up. It's like I said, it's only a matter of like 30 seconds, but it shows you what a big budget movie this was.
So we got a question. Have you heard of Brandon Tenhold's cult movie review? Yes.
Yes.
I don't tend to watch it because sometimes it feels like we have a lot of crossover with him, and there's kind of like, I don't want to like have a joke influenced.
No.
It's like something you're always kind of conscious of people doing a similar sort of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's bad enough that a lot of Mystery Science Theatre is in our heads already.
Yeah.
And you're having to come up with your own jokes. And so it's hard to watch other people's content who do a similar thing because you don't want it influencing.
No, I don't want it to be anybody's voice other than mine, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's also irritating when people say, "Oh, you've been watching." No, we haven't.
No, I mean, we are. Like,
I certainly haven't.
We're obviously all just in the same circles, and I mean,
when stuff becomes available, then we all do it.
We've also done, I don't know, 700 reviews, bad movie reviews. There's going to be, we're going to have done something that Red Letter Media's done. We're going to have done something that all of these, we've all done.
And likewise, I want to know if anybody's writing on his wall, "Oh, you've been watching Dark Corners." Yes. I bet no one is.
And there was the annoying one was the year that we did, what was that samurai Christmas one?
Oh, Bloodbeat.
And I found it and nobody done it. We recorded it, and then literally, I think Brendan had already done it during the summer for some reason, even though it's a Christmas movie. And then we'd recorded ours, and then literally Red Letter Media did their one that came out like about a week before we had ours scheduled. And it was, so it kind of looks like you're copying, but it was just, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, it's how these things fall sometimes.
So please do a video on Creature from the Black Lagoon. I
dare say we'll get to it. Probably not in the near future.
Yeah, we're looking to redo our Universal Frankenstein one this year.
Yes, over summer. So, when we did the Universal Frankenstein one, it was one of the first of the franchise. It was the first franchise one we'd done, and we just didn't do it justice because we were still learning how to do this sort of thing.
Yeah, and also just the sheer amount of knowledge that you.
Oh yeah, you learn so much researching the others.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff there. Cool. I thought 2023 was a great year for horror. Also love your shirt. The fact that that's also love your shirt makes me feel that comment's been there for quite a while. Thank you.
Oh dear.
Nosferatu remake coming up. Any thoughts?
It just seems like a waste of time to me. I don't really understand the point. It better have a really good reason behind it. There better be something that is different, a reason for doing this film.
Barbarian was pretty good as well. Yes, I enjoyed Barbarian. That might kind of pretty weird.
Yeah,
but it's I don't think it's super gory, so you should be okay with that. You got through Talk to Me, and I thought that was one of the.
I'm fine watching these things on streaming because then I can sort of like go away. I don't like being trapped in the theatre with it.
Oh yes, so it says push the like button. Yeah, so if you haven't hit the like button, do that.
Oh yeah, do that.
Do that.
We've got 111 likes. That's pretty good.
Voyager the Demeter was a great idea. It's not a great movie.
Oh well, now I feel less bad about it not coming here.
It Follows.
Holy hell, that we must be a good hour behind.
It Follows is a candidate for classic status. I believe the director's doing a sequel this year.
I thought there was already a sequel to It Follows.
Is
there not?
So.
Oh, okay.
No.
I might be thinking of something else. I get confused.
But it's kind of, I guess, after the one that we reviewed,
Silver Lake
flopped. Then, yeah.
I found that deeply irritating.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know.
Have we done a Barbara Steele video? No, we've talked about it though, so that's going to be coming. We've got an idea for that. Originally watched Tales that Witness Madness. Any plans for 70s anthologies? Yeah, we always do the odd anthology.
We wouldn't do a. I mean, if you mean, is there going to be a special about them? No, but we pick out individual ones to do reviews.
Someone here says the director of Elementary is a friend of mine.
Really?
Tell him we love the film.
We love it.
Yes, definitely needs more attention. If you haven't seen it, it's what was it from? Spain?
Yes,
Spain, and it's kind of like a Hammer influence.
It's a folk horror.
Yeah, but it's got sort of hammeriness to it in some respects.
You think? Some of the colouring, maybe.
Yeah. But we've got a review for it, so check it out, or just go straight and watch the movie.
It's a really cool movie.
It used to be on Netflix. Is it still? I don't know.
I think it is. It pops up every now and then in the recommendations.
Have we done a John Carpenter retrospective yet? No, we haven't. We did do an in-depth review of The Thing.
Yes.
Again, one of our earlier specials.
Yeah. It's still quite. I think that one holds up reasonably well. I haven't watched it recently, but I think it holds up relatively well. Whether we do a whole retrospective, it feels like something we wouldn't get to quickly, but maybe. There's other stuff of his I feel like we should look at if it's on streaming. Some of these films, it's. I mean, everybody knows it and likes it already, maybe. But sometimes it's fun to go back and look at this and say, I haven't seen this since the 80s.
Yes.
Does it still hold up?
Yeah.
And that's a sort of a different kind of review, I suppose, but still something that we do from time to time.
We're going to cover Gordon Hessler's 70s AIP Vincent Price films.
Ooh.
In bad movie reviews.
Yeah, maybe. We certainly won't be doing a special about them.
No. Other nominations for classic horrors of recent times: Hereditary and Get Out.
Okay.
Did you ever see Hereditary yet?
No, not Hereditary. Okay. I've seen Get Out.
Yeah. Did you get around to see Evil Dead Rise? I did, and I saw it, and I got a photo with the director. I thought it was okay.
Did you tell him that as you were getting your photo?
No, because I got the photo before I went to go and see it. It's one of these things where it's kind of burdened by the lore that already exists and having to deliver on Evil Deadness. But it does it well. There's a lot of practical effects in it which all look great.
Does it need to be Evil Dead?
No.
That would be my thing.
But part of the lore of it is that there are 3 Necronomicon books, so it's a different one to the one that Ash has.
But the Necronomicon pre-exists the Evil Dead series. You don't need to be the Evil Dead.
But in Evil Dead continuity, there's 3 of
them. Yeah. But I'm just saying.
I believe something like. Last Voyage to Demeter is available on Amazon. So
really,
in America.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't finish the sentence.
Not here.
Field in England could also be a horror classic.
Interesting. That was on. I was going to catch up with that because it was on Channel 4 recently. I think I can still get it on catch up.
X and Pearl are pretty much instant classics. Yeah, I enjoyed both of those. I'm looking.
But would you call them instant classics or future classics?
Could be. It'd be interesting to see what happens with the next film, Maxine, because they are. It's as a trilogy, it might be something very interesting to have this.
You know what? Quiet Place might be a future classic. I really liked that.
Okay. Hello, Brian. Well done for making it. Doctor Sleep, another modern classic. I did think about that. Nope was a future classic.
No,
didn't really do it for me. Would you review the Evil Dead franchise? Yes. The problem is when we quite a while back we did a horror smackdown where we left it up to the audience to help us find the best horror film. And by and large, whenever we were using clips from Evil Dead, it was getting copyright.
Right.
So it means it'll be a really difficult one to sort of to cut around all of the violence and the gore, and also be able to show enough in order to do the review. So that would be my concern. I wouldn't want to go to all the effort and then not be able to.
That would be
show it.
A pain.
So. That's it. We have not done Ravenous.
There's a cannibal theme running through tonight.
Yes. Babadook.
Babadook.
Yeah.
Yes.
Suggested by the science advisor himself.
Well, I find it hard to believe that the science advisor has seen the Babadook, but yeah, I think that's a good choice for a modern classic.
Fury Road is a classic.
Is it horror?
No, but remember the scope got
yeah. Okay, yeah. Fury Road I really enjoyed. I mean, Mad Max is a passenger in his own film, but I enjoyed the film.
Did you enjoy Nosferatu 1979?
I thought it was fine.
Cool.
I thought that the two sides, it sort of like it felt like two different films, and I thought they set a little uneasily together, but I enjoyed it.
Do we have plans to revisit some old reviews like we did with the Giant Claw?
Yes.
It's not like an urgent thing.
No.
The Giant Claw one we mainly did because we had a T-shirt that we wanted to pimp.
I think we'll need a reason to do it each time. So maybe if there's a film coming out or we've got something else we want to pimp, then maybe we would go back and do some. Because the first series is not even available on our main channel. Yeah,
that's it. Like, there must be a lot of people who don't
even know that first series exists. And Graham is just looking up is just going to drop a link to our T-shirts for you.
Yes.
Since they came up naturally in the course of the conversation.
Do you want to explain why people might want a T-shirt?
Well, if you get a T-shirt, for one thing, you'll be looking stylish. But also, if you send us a picture of whatever merchandise you buy, not just the T-shirts, there is other stuff on there, then you get access to an exclusive bad movie review.
Yes.
I can't remember what it is.
It's Prom Night 2.
There you go. A review of Prom Night 2.
We've reviewed Prom Night 2 exclusively for anyone who buys the merchandise.
You can only see this by buying our stuff.
But you have to tweet us a picture, email us a picture, or Facebook us a picture.
Or some proof of purchase.
Yes. So yes, and I've just popped a link down there in the comments if anyone wants to go ahead and buy one. Are there any horror films that can stack up against the best non-horror films in terms of quality?
Yes.
Peter Cushing never disappoints. That is true. Thoughts of, see, I didn't know this was going on. Thoughts on a new Blob film that's in the works.
Oh, I didn't know that was going on either. I guess. And we've always said that you shouldn't remake classics, and The Blob is maybe not a classic. I think The Blob, it's a different sort of classic.
Yeah.
I think, fine, why not? I don't have any real attachment to the original, so go ahead.
Someone said The Witch as another classic. I wasn't a big fan of that, but that is fine. People still wanting Idris Elba as Bond.
Oh, good grief. We are so far behind in these questions.
Another Roger Moore body. Best horror is Hammer. Devil Rides Out. Best standalone.
Yeah, but we've done a special on that.
Gorgon is Boar. Do you think The Innocents is the scariest ghost movie ever filmed? Like a lot of critics claim.
I found myself torn because I'm trying to answer in a cagey way because I think my answer contains spoilers. I think The Innocents is a very good film. I maybe want to see lots more ghost stories before saying that.
Okay. So it says, doesn't matter who's the next Bond film, but Louisa needs to be the next Bond girl. Cool. Good. Well, I hope you enjoyed your dinner, Laura. Woman in Black was ruined by the audience I saw it with. I had a similar experience to in the theatre thing. The schoolgirls sitting behind me spilled their ice cream all over my coat.
Oh. People slashing the chairs.
People slashing the chairs with pen knives.
It used to happen all the time.
And then so people were screaming at everything, and then a man stood up and told them to shut up. I told some kids to shut the fuck up when I was watching Wonka. They just did not stop talking throughout the whole film. And I had to tell them to shut the fuck up.
Did they?
They did for about 2 minutes. And I was like, this is a lost cause. Okay. If you had $1 billion to remake any movie you wanted, what movie would it be?
$1 billion. I
don't know.
I think there's other stuff I'd do with my billion. But
I'm trying to think of like a film that really doesn't need $1 billion and just pocket most
Pocket
of the
the
money.
rest.
Do what that was the case with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon with the movie Air.
Right.
They were pitching it around, and Amazon just wanted it, so they went 150 million, and they're like, "Yeah, okay." And that's also been a thing with several Netflix shows that basically people have charged like loads and they've just been pocketing all the money and spending nothing on the productions.
How do you get into this world? I would remake The Four Devils or possibly something like Queen Kelly. I'd remake a Lost film because that feels like something worth remaking.
Give the $1 billion to the science advisor to build a time machine.
That's a good, yeah. I mean, I'd remake, yeah, I'll remake it for 50 million, and the rest can go to the science advisor to make stuff.
He doesn't get paid otherwise. If you could make your own horror film, what type of horror film would it be?
I'd adapt one of my books.
Which one?
I guess I'd start at the start. Do I have $1 billion for this as well?
No, you got significantly less. The investors are not interested.
I'd still probably go with starting at the start. I feel like that's the most commercial one in a way.
Okay.
Of course, if anyone else would like to adapt my books, then please get in touch. Or publish them for that matter.
I love X the Unknown. Oh, you can also get Robin's books, and we pop a link down.
X the Unknown is another Hammer film. Sorry, when he starts looking for links, then suddenly I'm out of questions.
Just talk about X the Unknown.
There's not a lot I can say. X the Unknown is the one that Hammer put out pretty soon after the Quatermass experiment, and was the first writing job of Jimmy Sangster, who had just been like, I forget what his job was at Hammer, but nothing like writing. And they were looking for something to replicate the success of Quatermass, and the idea of Quatermass was aliens coming down to Earth. So Sangster just said, why don't you have a monster coming up from underneath the ground, just like an inversion of it? And they said, great, go and write it. And I've never written anything before, write this. And that's how he started as a writer. And then, of course, went on to script Curse of Frankenstein, Dracula, The Mummy, all of their classics, really.
Yeah, that's one of our to-do lists, is to do Quatermass.
Quatermass. Well, yeah, we were theoretically waiting for them to remake it.
Well, that's it. Also, if someone's giving $1 billion to make some movies, we're not anti a Quatermass.
No, that'd be all right. Another Quatermass would be good. Another Captain Kronos would be good.
Yeah. There isn't really anything new to be said about the Universal Frankenstein films.
Well, wait till the special.
Yeah, we got some interesting things.
There's certainly there may not be anything new to be said by other people, but we didn't say much in our original video.
Yeah, and
we really just talked about
plot.
Yeah, what each one is.
I love your episode about Dracula posters. Would you consider doing another video about poster art?
We really liked doing those. That's a lie. I hated filming them, but we liked putting them out.
They were stressful days. Yeah,
they were very stressful to do, and the way that YouTube works is, to a degree, it's sort of like, it's not exactly based on an average. But if you have videos with high views, then they start giving all of your videos a bit more boost. If you have videos that have low views, as those poster ones did, then they give the other videos less of a boost, even if the other videos are still doing what they would usually do.
Yeah.
So having 24 low-viewed videos in December dragged our overall views down. Yeah. So it just wasn't worth our while, unfortunately, because we did like doing them.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, if I get a time to prioritize different things, because we do a compilation of them from each year, and I haven't done the ones from the last one that we did, because we talked about just writing a little bit more in there and adding a bit more, because they're all focused around. We did
poster designers,
and it was 4 or 5.
Yeah. Something like that.
So yeah, so we'll flesh out that maybe at some point. I have to dig out the footage somewhere.
Work
somewhere. but not a huge priority. There's other things that need doing. So to answer your question, no. And also, I guess it's like there's only so much you can keep saying about the poster art, I guess. Like it gets a little bit samey after a while, is the risk. Okay. Have we done a profile on James Whale?
No, I imagine that would take up at least some of the Universal Frankenstein special. So there's something that I don't think has been covered in a huge amount of detail, is who James Whale was and his origins, and I think that would definitely be something that would be talked about, because his personality is all over both the first two films, but especially the second one. I mean, obviously we talked about him a little bit when we did the Invisible Man one, but still.
So the actual question here was about his dark quartet. So what's the fourth in that?
Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man, and Old Dark House.
Cool. Thank you.
That's all right.
Of course I knew the answer. That was just just for the viewing audience. But this
Old Dark House is fun.
This feels like a question that I would have put in here. Have you ever thought about doing reviews of particularly notable episodes of classic anthology TV shows like The Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, The Outer Limits, etc.?
Graham would very much like to do this. I find the amount of work daunting.
Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of want to do it in a similar vein to James Rolfe does Monster Madness in October, but to do them in October. Not necessarily one a day, but some of them. Because, I think there's probably some really interesting things there.
Yeah, probably. But digging them out,
yeah,
it's finding the interesting. It's not even the review writing. It's all the associated stuff, trying to find those 31 episodes or whatever it would prove to be. It's daunting.
Have we done a Bert I. Gordon retrospective? In a way.
Yeah, we did like what we called a streaming guide when Bert I. Gordon passed away last year. Before?
Yes, last
year. Which was really sort of like where you can find his films and which are the ones to watch. It wasn't an in-depth thing, but I think it worked for Bert I. Gordon.
But I think mainly we most of them we probably cover in the bad movie reviews anyway.
We've covered a lot of his films.
So yes. So you can watch that. That gives you because that covers some of the more unusual, like less horror ones.
Well, he's known for the sort of giant nuclear animal films, but he only really did a few of those in the 50s, and then he still had a career outside of that. And to be honest, it wasn't as much fun, but still, there's other films there to appreciate.
Would we review The Story of Mankind, 1957, starring Vincent Price and the Marx Brothers?
I don't think so. I just don't think that's really our remit.
Okay.
To be honest.
A lot of people saying Hereditary is heavily overrated.
Okay.
Have you seen the movie Harvey?
I mean, I've seen the Jimmy Stewart one. I love it.
The only one
absolutely brilliant film.
The recent Fall of Usher TV show. Did you go back? Did you watch the first episode?
Yeah, I never got round to the second, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Would you consider reviewing the Leprechaun films? We've got them.
Maybe we should try to aim to get them out for St. Patrick's Day or something.
Yeah, that was the idea.
When's St. Patrick's Day? Anybody know?
St. Patrick's Day, probably too late now. Tomorrow.
No, sort of springtime.
Yeah,
isn't it?
St. Patrick's Day. Oh.
How far can it
March
be?
17th.
It would have to be in the next batch.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, possibly in the next batch then.
If not, next year.
Just watch Cat People because of our Val Luton review. Oh, cool. Well, definitely go check out all of Val Luton's films.
Yes. Doesn't say if you liked it or not.
Body Snatchers and Bedlam, I enjoyed.
Leopard Man, that's a good one. I Walked with a Zombie, fantastic film. Yeah.
I jumped over some stuff. Any thoughts on doing a Jallo special?
No,
because we don't know it enough.
We just don't know enough.
Yeah.
We're not one of those review shows that just talk shit about stuff they know nothing about. We're one of those review shows that talk shit about stuff they know little about.
Exactly. Lovers, not experts, is the line.
Yes.
Is the line that they use on the James Bonding podcast, which I think works very nicely.
Yeah.
A Ladies of Hammer video. Yes, we've certainly
we considered
about doing
it. Yeah.
that. So that's definitely one in the would do it. Would you consider doing Video Nasty special? Wow.
There's
a sore point. Yes. Probably not on the main channel, just because we won't be able to show them. But on Patreon, there is always the promise of such a series, of which there is one episode out so far of Driller Killer. The other one languishing in development hell.
I was like, is there still an episode out called Driller Killer, or is it completely lost?
No, I put it back out.
Right. So that one exists.
It's 100% there. Yeah. Okay.
We need to. Yeah.
How about unsung heroes of horror? Starting with Michael Ripper.
Yeah, I certainly like the idea of unsung heroes of Hammer. I've got a book called Unsung Heroes of Hammer, so that would be a useful time to use it. And it would be nice because there are all those sort of like, as you say, with Michael Ripper, who's just one of the great bit part actors of Hammer, and Hammer had a bunch of them. And there's also a whole load of behind the scenes people who were with the company for ages and ages and ages, and who saw it all and did it all. And there's a lot to be mined there.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite sure what form the video would take, but it's definitely a possibility.
So I mentioned French horror film High Tension is a great half a film. But talking about other great French horror films, I quite liked Raw as well.
Ah, right, yeah.
So there was that. And there was Revenge. I think it was Revenge. I liked as well. Lost film you would most like to see. Obviously, London Midnight gets thrown up.
The Four Devils.
Yeah,
always.
Do you want to flesh that out for
people? The Four Devils was
this might be a horror film.
Right. The Four Devils was the film that F.W. Murnau, who's director of Nosferatu, Faust, Sunrise, made for Fox after Sunrise. Between Sunrise and the film that became City Girl. So really at the height of his powers, it's one of the most high-profile Lost films. It's set in a circus. It's sort of a romantic drama, but the contemporary reviews talk about this extraordinary camera work, and we have Murnau's production sketches that he drew for it, and it does look remarkable. But I'm a huge fan of his films, so yeah, that's the one I'd like to see.
Because there's a sense that they rigged the camera up and it flew through the loops.
Yeah, that it's sort of like that it's with the trapeze artists.
Yeah.
A lot of questions about exactly what it was. Nobody really knows.
There's not even really many production photos from it, is there?
No.
Because like you take something like London After Midnight, which is completely lost, but there's so many photos.
Yeah.
You can pretty much make a book of the story.
Well, they have. I own the book of the story.
Yeah.
Someone's even animated it. But there are still questions about the development of London After Midnight, but that's a whole other thing.
Okay. Joyful Slave says that they love our channel, which is
delightful
to hear. David Smith asked favorite Lovecraft film.
I don't know. I don't think I have one.
Nicolas Cage one?
No, Haunted Palace.
Okay.
Even though it's named after a Poe film, it is a Lovecraft film. It's a Poe story.
One of your favourite observations. Does anyone else think Robin looks like Noel Fielding in this thumbnail? Same outfit as when everyone thought you looked like
Weird Al Yankovic,
but now Noel Fielding.
There were people commenting on Twitter that it was Weird Al Yankovic.
Any interest in talking about any more of the Doctor Who movies with Peter Cushing, or the American one from the 90s?
We covered the one from the 90s earlier. We said we might do that. The other one with Peter Cushing, I mean, in the end, I'm just going to say the exact same things we said about the other one with Peter Cushing. I don't think it's desperately worth doing for us.
Yeah. How about top 10 short horrors?
I wouldn't know where to begin, to be honest.
I'm late and going to bed soon. Just wanted to do something for the algorithm overlords.
Thank
You
you.
are doing the Lord's work. Again, When Evil Lurks is a surprisingly good film, Argentinian one.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Subject 2 and Session 9 are Unsung Gems. The Science Advisor and Mrs. Science Advisor are turning in for the night.
Good night. That was probably about an hour ago.
It's not. We're actually at the end of the comments.
Wow.
We've caught up. So somebody else mentioning about another lost film, Cleopatra with Theda Bar, which we covered earlier on in this thing.
It's being pieced back together second by second.
What are your thoughts on the Quatermass franchise? Did you answer that question?
No, I love that. I love that the Quatermass franchise is a rare franchise that has successfully changed with each reiteration. That there was obviously the TV series, and then Hammer's initial 2 films, which are sort of a piece, and then later they did Quatermass and the Pit, which is very, very different, but it works in its own thing. And there's the version with John Mills, and there's various other versions. There's recently been a stagey one, and it's something that invites reinvention. Which is quite rare. I think it works really well. I'd love to see another Quatermass film.
Cool. Hello, discovered your channel a couple of weeks ago, and I'm in love. You cover the most amazingly obscure movies that I've ever heard of. How do you find them?
A lot of them come through suggestions. It's also the case that if we've been doing this now for over 10 years, and I thought what I get recommended on Amazon and YouTube and stuff is a disturbing mix.
Yes.
And you also basically you find the more of them you watch, the more of them you find that you sort of get it's a sort of a rabbit hole thing.
Yes.
That you just get led to more the different names you follow and so on.
Yeah, you'll find like a director who did like a bad film, and you go, "Oh, I wonder what else they've done." You start looking at the other films in their resume, and you go, "Oh my god, these all just sound great."
Yeah, very early on, we reviewed a film called Assignment Terror, which we would because its alternative title was Dracula versus Frankenstein.
Yeah,
and it was just a bad movie with a werewolf in it who we didn't pay any mind to, and the guy playing the werewolf was Paul Naschy, who we latterly found out is an enormous horror star in Spain, who we'd never heard of, and we reviewed a couple of his films before realizing that this was a really important man.
Yeah,
and since then we've done a bunch of his films, which are a lot better than Assignment Terror. We started out with a terrible one.
Yeah, and also like the print quality of it's terrible.
Yeah. You learn as we learn as we go.
Yeah, that's it.
But it's nice to hear from someone who's such a new. It's nice to know that we still pick up new fans, to be honest.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you for watching.
It's also quite an interesting. Thank you for pointing me towards Onibaba and Kurosawa.
Kuroneko.
Next up, Kuroneko. Next up, Kwaidan.
Oh, brilliant. Was that a question?
Question for you.
Oh, right.
It doesn't say.
I think he means that next up he's watching Kwaidan, which you should.
But you should also review it.
I mean, I did review it for our Patreon supporters as part of last year's thing. Whether I'd love to do something on Kwaidan, but I always feel somewhat daunted by the scale of it and to some degree by my ignorance. I'm glad that someone enjoyed the Onibaba and Kuroneko specials. I'm always concerned that those are just like an elaborate synopsis rather than actually saying anything substantial about the films.
Favorite Shakespeare adaptation?
Throne of Blood.
I knew you were going to say that.
Are you going to say Ran?
No, because I didn't like Ran that much. I really King Lear is my favorite Shakespeare play, but because of that, I've got a vision of what it should be, and so anything that's not that.
I thought you loved Ran.
I do. It's not my favorite Shakespeare adaptation.
Right. What is?
Don't know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Also a big fan of The Chimes at Midnight, which is a unique Shakespeare adaptation that it's mainly drawn from, I think, 3 Shakespeare plays, but it actually takes material from 7 and puts them into one cohesive story all about, I've forgotten the character's at Falstaff, and is one of arguably Orson Welles' last great film.
Yes. Do you see that Ian McKellen's doing like merging all the false staff stories into one?
Yes. Pardon you, it's been done.
Yes, but with Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
So I've seen Ian McKellen's King Lear, which I enjoyed. Had a really nice. Sometimes I see bits where, oh, that's a really good interpretation of the text and stuff like that. And I didn't get to see Kenneth Branagh's King Lear recently,
right?
But very reduced. I think it was about 90 minutes. So
wow,
cut
that's
out,
like half.
Cut out a lot, which there's
after doing the whole of Hamlet, you just fuck this. There's a better way to do this.
There's quite a lot of that in King Lear that I think you could do with Trim.
True. A friend of ours was in a production of King Lear in which they decided to cut the fool, which is something you shouldn't do.
No, the Ian McKellen one I had a really good bit for the fool's death, which is not mentioned. He just kind of disappears in the play. But the death of the fool is sort of the act going into intermission, and kind of what happens there. It's
gets to live in Ran.
It's basically he's in the room when Gloucester is blinded, but hiding, and he comes out afterwards, and then they see him, and Goneril kills him, or Regan, I think it is, in that scene, which is like a nice sort of way to end his story, as he does just kind of vanish. I've also seen it with Nigel Hawthorne.
Oh, that's the sort of Japanese influence one, wasn't it?
Yep, saw that in Stratford-upon-Avon. And I've seen it with Alf Garnett.
Wow.
And I've seen it, I've seen many.
You've seen a lot of King Lears.
Seen a lot of King Lears in my time. I've
only seen one live. It was terrible. We were taken to it with school just because we were studying King Lear for GCSE, I think, maybe A level, one or the other, and it was just a very bad production.
The worst one I saw was the first time I went to the Globe in London, and the Globe had only just opened, and part of their opening thing was they were inviting acting troops from all over the world to perform there, and it was like a kabuki version of King Lear. I mean, and I know King Lear very well. I had no fucking idea what was going on.
Do you know kabuki?
No, but
maybe that wasn't the ideal way.
I figured I could maybe follow the story that I knew. I had just had no idea. It was.
I haven't seen I used to. My family used to go occasionally go to Sadler's Wells to watch the kabuki plays there, and those I do like. I haven't seen one for years, though.
Yeah, I wonder if a more mature version of me would feel better about it. But at the time, it was like, I spent how much on this ticket? I didn't even get a groundling ticket because. Go, oh, shockingly, there were seats available. Go, well, let me have a seat. Should have just got the standing thing and sat on the floor because there wasn't many people there. Anyway, if you were in charge of declaring knighthoods, which performer or filmmaker would you put in first? I don't think actors deserve such honors. I don't think they're that important in the grand scheme of things.
They're not, but it's a nice recognition.
Yes.
Isn't it? I'm trying to think of someone now.
I'm sure like all of the ones have already got it who should.
Yeah, they're all fine. Yeah. Patrick Stewart's got one, hasn't he?
Yeah. Judi Dench has got hers. Helen Mirren's probably got hers.
Oh, yeah. She's Dame or whatever, isn't she? Trying to think of actors sort of reaching that certain age. It feels like something you need to have worked quite hard to get.
Yeah.
So... I'll go Idris Elba. Sir Idris Elba.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Done a lot of charity work as well. Nice guy.
You could do a special about the movies referenced in Rocky Horror Picture Show. Interesting.
Yeah, it's quite a nice.
Curious about that and how all the films, because they obviously are. Yeah,
that feels like one that would be really good for clicking on.
Yes,
there's a nice viewer-friendly one.
Sorry, late guys. What are your thoughts on the Japanese horror stories anthologies anime on Netflix? I haven't watched them, but maybe we should check them out. A Jimmy Sangster special? Question mark?
I don't think it's a big enough name to hold up a special. Obviously, we've talked about Jimmy Sangster in the context of other specials.
What director from any era would you like to direct the movie adaptation of your book?
Of my book? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Wow. You see, part of me just wants to say Hitchcock.
Is it? Do you think it's a Hitchcockian?
I think that the first the sort of the adventure story of the Mummy would be quite fun for Hitchcock.
Okay.
So
cool.
maybe that.
Yeah.
And it's a good actiony one, and it would be sort of like early Hitchcock, around sort of the Lady Vanishes era Hitchcock.
Yeah. Okay. Any plans for any ape-related content to coincide with the new Planet of the Apes film coming out next month? I think it's actually a bit later than that. I think it's actually April. I think.
Oh, right. So there's still time. We hadn't had.
I wonder if
maybe we should.
Like one of the Planet of the Apes sequels, because they get probably weird.
Pretty bad, pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe.
All right. Let's. Yeah, I've got them, so I can.
Maybe we should do the original Planet of the Apes for streaming, because I think people are less familiar with that. Will
you ruin the ending?
No. Yes. Actually, I might with Planet of the Apes. For goodness' sake, if you don't know that.
I think I think it's pretty much on the DVD cover.
Yeah.
The ending there.
Besides, any excuse to show that clip from The Simpsons is a good one.
Yes.
It's one of the best bits of The Simpsons ever. Is stop the Planet of the Apes. I want to get off.
Oh, I thought you were talking when Homer was like, wait a minute, that's our planet, you maniacs.
No, it's my God, musical. I was wrong. It was Earth all along.
We've reviewed 1936 Things to Come.
We have.
So yes, David B, it has been reviewed. Check it out. Ever read Paul Nash's autobiography? No, but I think at some point we will do a Nashi retrospective of some sort and read his book, because it seems to be a interesting story. We have not reviewed the Japanese Starman films.
Did we not do one?
Oh, maybe we did. Oh, didn't know we did one. Yeah, like superhero one way back when.
I can't remember what it was called now. It was
Yes, I know exactly the one you mean. There were lots of different things from different worlds.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have done one.
I'm sorry, I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
He was the superhero with the outrageously padded crotch.
Yes. Have you seen the film Possum?
No.
Okay. What do you think of a reboot of James Clavell's Shogun?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think the TV series did a very good job of it, but sure. I mean, it's just another adaptation of a book.
Have we seen any of the Coffin Joe series? No, we bought a set.
I did watch one.
Oh, you did watch one. Didn't do it for you, and it's
didn't.
Part of the thing it's actually in the latest review we did in Inframan. It's like we watch it with the English dub because it's funnier. So it makes it a bit harder to do the Coffin Joe films because they're not dubbed.
Yeah.
So it might be something that we do down the line. I think they've just released a new, very good box set of his work on Blu-ray where it's all been cleaned up and there's lots of special features. So if you do like Coffin Joe, you can check that out. Brentfield was rubbish. But the spin-off for Nicolas Cage's Dracula would be good. Have we done an episode on Carry On Screaming yet? Why do I feel like Carry On Screaming was a favourite of mine in my youth?
Love it.
I wonder if it is not so great if I watch it now.
Oh, I mean, I dare say bits of it of age, but it's still got some very, very funny bits in it.
Yeah.
There's some lovely back and forth between them. Mm-hmm. It's funny. It's funny stuff. And it's a great Hammer spoof.
We have reviewed Conga. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up in about 10 minutes. Let's say 1:45.
Okay.
Just on TCM, do you see as much Hitchcock in Close Encounters as I do?
Just
I don't.
In Close Encounters.
Yeah, is there like a Hitchcockianness in Close Encounters?
I don't. I'm not sure I've ever detected that.
Evil Brain from Outer Space.
That's it. Yeah. Glad somebody's paying attention. Do you detect a Hitchcockian? It's a long time since I watched Close Encounters, so maybe I'd feel differently. But I can't say that that's how it grabbed me.
No. Have you done a review of Panic in Year Zero?
No. I feel like that came up recently on in some respects, and I can't remember why.
So Doug went to go and see The Boy and the Heron, which I know you want to see.
Yeah, doesn't seem to be on any cinemas near
you
me
a
anymore.
Fan?
I'm a big Miyazaki fan. I wanted to see that film, and I just ran out of time. There's just only so many hours in the day. I was hoping that it would still be around this week when I am going to the cinema, but it's not in any of the cinemas near me, unfortunately.
Have you seen the Japanese remake of Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven?
No.
Nope. Have you guys done a retrospective of the TV series Hammer House of Horror? That's on ITV
Is it?
Player.
On ITV Player? Oh, well, we must do some of those then. We must find a way
that's where I
to
got
cover that.
the footage of Peter Cushing's episode. I thought the dude on the right was wearing blush, but I think his cheeks are really red.
Oh, well.
Yeah, not wearing
Neither
blush,
of us are wearing blush.
but we both got rosy cheeks. And somebody else has also piped in to say it was Evil Brain from Outer Space.
Thank you. It's so nice that people remember.
Have you done Del Morte Del More?
No, that was on BFI Player. But it was one of those ones that's listed on BFI Player and is not currently available. So it was one I was going to do, but didn't. I don't think you're on BFI Player anymore.
Not at the moment.
No.
I'm always picking up at some point.
Yeah, but why not do the ones that aren't going to cost us money? I'm
willing to spend. There's other stuff on there.
This is true. I mean, I
won't just watch one thing.
I do find it helpful that because I'm paying for it, I will watch at least one film a month. I'm not watching nothing. Otherwise, I'm just throwing money away.
Yes. Cool. We got to the end of the questions. Anything else you want to say this evening?
We won.
We beat the system. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us.
Yes.
And we'll be back in probably about 6 weeks or so.
See, there's more coming now.
Oh, now they're coming. I know you guys tried to keep it in the 50s to 90s, but have you seen Gordon's Dragon? Be right for a streaming review. Streaming reviews, we'll
go right up to the present.
Yeah, the idea of the streaming reviews originally was to do more recent films, but that remit grew to, I guess, forgotten films.
Yeah, sort of cool films that you can find that you can stream that you might have missed or might be surprised is streaming.
So that's sort of the remit of the streaming one. So we will go right in there.
As soon as you said we're going to finish, then suddenly like a barrage of questions came in.
In fairness, just one, two. A
lot of comments.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The barrel of questions did come in. Which film did you guys see as children that terrified you? Exorcist Part 3.
The Dark Crystal.
Journey to the Unknown, the series, ?
Not out of that's another Hammer one.
Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, if we were going to do Hammer House of Horror, then we might do sort of like, if we were going to do something on them, possibly. I don't know. We don't really do a lot of TV.
Oh, this is a good one. Robin, I've asked on a previous stream, how do you stay so slim? You said you have chronic stomach illness. How's your health these days?
It's not going anywhere, but it's something I just have to live with. But I'm not. It's not going to kill me either. So fine.
You mainly now just have to avoid gluten and dairy.
Well, not mainly. That's what I have to avoid. Mainly, completely gluten. Dairy's a bit more of a grey area, but yeah.
Right. Have you seen a clip show that was narrated by Oliver Reed called World of Hammer?
No, I don't think so.
No. Thank you for educating me on 20s, 30s, and 40s horror. It's been a revelation to me.
Oh, that's really nice to hear. Thank you.
Cool. I'm just going to stay and just read like complimentary comments to you.
Right.
Now.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Let's do that.
But no, everyone's saying good night as well.
Yes,
so
I think we said good night. So let's
call it.
Let's call it.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Your support is very welcome.
Thank you for watching.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Good night.